Hi, I'm Tony Robbins. Welcome to Money Master the Game, 7 simple steps to financial freedom. Big promise, right? When we're going to deliver one for you. Listen, if you're here right now, you're part of my community, and I want to thank you for stopping by. Or maybe you're part of a community of some dear friends of mine. I've reached out to a couple of key partners because I have a passion project I want to tell you about. I have a book coming out, the first one I've done in 2 decades. So you can imagine, I wasn't going to write a book unless I had something that I thought would really change lives. And this one really is that. So my friends, if you're part of their community, you're here because I said I'm looking for influential people because I have a special offer I want to make prior to my book coming out, pre-launch. And the book offer is just for you guys and just for right now. So let me tell you about the offer, but for 2 seconds, let me tell you what the book's about. And then you can watch further later on if you want to know a lot more about it. But I found most people want to know, hey, what's the offer and what is it? Here's what I've done. I've interviewed over the last 4 years 50 of the most brilliant minds in the financial world. I'm talking about people who are the best on earth, like Carl Icahn. If you'd been investing even a tiny amount of money with Carl Icahn, you'd have a ton right now. Over the last 14 years, he's delivered 1,600% return compared to, if you'd own the stock market, the S&P, it was 75%. He's outstripped Warren Buffett. He's outstripped the market the last 1, 5, and 10 years. Most people don't know. And he's a gentleman, normally wealthy people have to go to a hedge fund. You have to pay these big fees. I'm going to show you in this book how you go with literally no hedge fund fees and be right beside Carl. I was with Carl the other day. He made $2 billion on Netflix in 18 months. He put out a tweet that talked about Apple, and Apple's stock went up $17 billion in 2 hours. And this guy is as smart as it can be. So I don't care if you're starting with $100, $1,000, $10,000. If you're in the hole or if you want to build the future, you want to know what the best of the best are saying. In other words, if you want to master the game of money, you got to learn from the masters. I sat down with Jack Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, 64 years in the financial business, showing you what to avoid where you get screwed over and how to really make sure you get the most for your money, however amount you start with. People like Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is a guy who's considered the Da Vinci of investing. People often look at him as Steve Jobs of investing. Most people have never heard of his name because you have to have $5 billion net worth and $100 million to even start with him, and that was 10 years ago. He won't take your money today. I tell you that so you know this is not a Tony Robbins book on finance. This is literally the best on earth saying, here's what the ultra wealthy do, and here's what the secrets are, and here's what you can do to make this happen in your own life. And I just got to tell you, the ultra wealthy people, the more I've spent with them, you think they take these giant risks, they're the opposite. They're always looking to see, how do I lower my risk and get the maximum upside? There's even ways, for example, that they invest in the stock market, I found out, where they're guaranteed not to lose money. So if you're worried the stock market might be high now, what if it lost 10 or 20%? If it did, you don't lose a dime. And they still get 80 to 90% of the upside. It's wild what they know. They know how to increase the tempo in which they get their goals 30 to 50% faster because they know some of the simple things that the IRS actually supports, if you know what they are, that can cut their taxes and give them a greater return. In other words, not have to earn more money, but take the money they have and lock down the success of that and keep it right now and grow it. So this book, I'm very excited about. It's a 7-step process anybody can do. It's designed for somebody who's maybe a millennial that's just getting started. Maybe you have a bunch of debt from student loan debt. You're not knowing how to turn it around. Or maybe you're somebody who's in your middle age and you're thinking about, you took some hits in 2008. Where do I go? How do I make myself get my retirement happen? Or maybe you're a sophisticated investor and you want more. I've got the answers here because I've gone to the best on earth. So here's my special offer real quick. And by the way, the book is really fun. It's full of stories and examples of the real people. You get to learn directly from them. The offer is simple. I want to get buzzed out on this book. I want to get this thing going before it gets here. So if you want to participate with me, here's my offer and gift to you. And I'm going to ask a gift back if you're willing to. The offer is, you can get this book right now for literally just shipping and handling. It's $28.95. It's a hardbound book from Simon & Schuster. It's going to be a bestseller. You get a chance to get that. And all you gotta do is put your name and your email address, go to the second page, give us the shipping information, you pick up the shipping and handling, and we'll ship you the book. But I'll also send you immediately, with no delay, the first chapter of the book in digital form so you can read it. And then I'm also gonna send you every 3 days a new video that I've created. It's a series of 3 on Money Master the Game, kind of a fast track, because I know a lot of people don't read, and you might want to just say, let me watch that and get some of the key things I can take action on immediately to turn my finances around and really get lifelong financial income, lifelong financial stability and freedom. So those are the offers for you. And my quid pro quo, so to speak, what I'm asking from you, please, is if you love it as much as I know you will, then I'm asking you to go to Amazon and write it up. I'm asking you to go on social media, LinkedIn, if you would, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're going to go, and put up the word how great this book is. That's my request, and that's why I want to try and make this happen with you. So will you help me out with my mission, and will you help yourself out to learn the best of the best, to take total control of your financial life? If so, this is your opportunity. And I'll just tell you one more thing. I'm not making a dime on this book. This is truly a mission for me. Many of you know my story if you've been part of my community. When I was 11 years old, we were so broke we had no money and no food on Thanksgiving. And part of what changed my life massively was a family came and fed my family. And I still know who it was. They delivered the food anonymously. But it completely changed my life. It made me reevaluate. Everyone, my family said nobody gives a damn about us, but especially my father. And I can tell you that after that I went, strangers care. And if strangers care about me, I care about strangers. So I promised myself someday I'd give back in a similar way. So when I was 17, I fed 2 families. It was incredible. It was one of the most rewarding things I've done. And then next year I doubled it 4, and then 8. And then gradually my companies got bigger, my employees got involved, and it was 100,000. Then it was 1 million people a year, and then 2 million. And for the last roughly 15 years, we've been feeding more than 2 million people a year, but the last 3 or 4 years, 4 years now, my wife and I have been doubling that number. In other words, we match whatever the foundation's done, and we've been feeding 4 million people a year. So I tell you this because I'm pretty proud that a boy that didn't have any food now gets to feed 4 million people a year. But this year, I want to up my game. And I don't know if you saw, but Congress last summer cut food stamps by $8.7 billion. Why does that matter? Well, you and I, most people are worried about they're going to retire. There are 17 million children that go to bed every night wondering if there's going to be food the next day in the richest country in the world. And they cut that budget. And as a result, each family they support on average has to go without a meal 1 week a month for 12 months. So obviously to support that, all the nonprofits are trying to pour in. They're all being stretched as much as they can. I want to bring attention to this. So I thought, you know what if I donated all the profits of my book in advance? Not if I sell a book, then I'll buy a meal, not that kind of crap, 100% up front. And how many people could I feed? And it's like, wow, I could feed 10 million people. That'd be pretty exciting. And then as the years gone by, I've gotten more and more excited, more and more committed. So I am on November 15th writing a check. First of all the profits of this book are being paid in advance, every penny out. I'm not making a dime on it, but I'm writing a check much bigger than that on top of it. And we're going to feed 50 million people on November 15th through Feeding America. They're the largest and most effective hunger relief organization in the United States. And I'm telling you this because we're going to use Feeding America is going to help me try and use my funds for matching funds to feed 100 million people this year. So if you want, after you've read the book, my only other request, if you're touched by it, if it shows you how to make a ton more money, which it will, you'll see some of the quotes below what people like Steve Forbes have said. People, by the way, there's a list of quotes there from people in the financial arena who never endorse a book. So take a look what they said. You don't have to take my word for it. And plus, you're not paying for it. It's just in for shipping and handling. But I hope you'll get excited about the mission of this too, and you'll spread the word, because for every book I sell, I also have Simon & Schuster giving away a book called Notes from a Friend that I wrote. I was homeless once, and it describes my path from there to here. And it's really helpful to families in need. So for every time we sell one of these books, Simon & Schuster will give one of those books to a family in need. So we'll be feeding them physically and mentally, while you're also changing your own life and getting financially free. Sound good? If so, go ahead, fill in right away the email, rock and roll, put in your shipping, and I'll get these bonuses to you. I'll get the download to you, and we'll get the book to you as it comes in immediately. Thanks for watching. Live strong and live with passion.